Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having a lovely Saturday, maybe slightly better than mine. I have developed a cough, so you're going to be hearing me cough, and I apologize. But this is CrossFit for the 2023 Crosskeys Mentor Tournament. Basically, what I will be going over are things that might trip up new runners for people who are not used to Crosskeys, and some of the potential logical quirks, some things that you maybe don't normally see in non-entrance seeds that you might need to know about. If you have any questions, please ask them. I will get around to them as much as possible. If you think there are any gotchas or anything that I may have missed, please let me know, because I generally play a lot more Crosskeys than I'm sure many of you do. So what I might consider a gotcha or what you might consider a gotcha might not be something I have thought about. So please let me know. I've kind of broken this down into a couple of sections that we'll be going over. The first one is connector gotchas. Basically, what you might not expect you might be required to do in via a connector in Crosskeys. For reference, the seed I have pulled up is the Crosskeys Completionist Daily from a couple of days ago. Basically, the seed that required you to get 216 out of 216 checks before you can even defeat Ganon. So I did that just because, that way I have everything. I know where everything is for the most part. And so I don't have to go looking around. So to start, I think one of the first big ones that a lot of people who are new to Crosskeys might not recognize is this one right here. This right here is Bumper Cave. Obviously, in non-entrance, you come from the other end of Bumper Cave, and you use the cape, you go through this bumper, and you get the item over here. But in the event you don't have a cape, but you have a hook shot, and you have this specific end of Bumper Cave. So not the other end, we'll show you why in a moment, but you can hook shot, you can barely see it up there at the very top. There are some pots that you can hook shot over to, like so. Boop. And just like that, you're through. So this is very much a logical thing. This could very much take you to somewhere like, Floating Island. It could lead you to top of Bumper Cave. Some of the connectors that you don't have, that you only have one way to get to. And like I said, this only applies to the specific end of Bumper Cave that actually has the bumper attached to it that you can hookshot across. As I'll show you here momentarily. If you don't have the cape here, there's nothing to hookshot across. You will not get very far if you try. So if you're going the vanilla way in Bumper Cave, you must have the cape. If you are going the non-vanilla way, the hookshot will fulfill its logical duty. So that's just the first one. Again, there's a few of these that I'm going to go over. A lot of this is also just going to be me moving from place to place to confirm and show you guys, just to kind of give you a visual aspect of it. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you'd like me to slow down, please let me know, and I will also slow down. You're late. I just started. Ditch. All right, so the next one, again, I think for pretty much anyone who watches Crosskeys, you see this specific connector, and that's Fairy Ascension Cave. If you have only ever played non-entrance seeds, you're probably like, I've never seen this cave before in my life. And it is very specifically just, I think in the vanilla game, it's on Easeth Mountain. Think of it as the Light World laser bridge and that entrance below it. That's Fairy Ascension Cave. So again, just one that, if you're not used to entrance, this might be a cave you're like, I didn't know that this is a connector. And so you just have to recognize that you have connector purposes. Obviously, if you find this end, it's much faster because you can just drop down, lift this up, and you're good to go. All right. Logical quirk when it comes to connectors, number 3. Yay! You can lift that up in bunny, yes. All right, so now we're going to get into... This is not where I wanted to go. This is where I want to go. Sorry, I'm going to be drinking water and stuff while I'm doing this. Yeah, it's not in logic to go the one end because it's lifting up pots, not a logical thing. All right. Hello. I have found Desert Palace. I have a moon pearl, so I'm not a bunny. But imagine if I were a bunny and I have found this end of Desert Palace. Well, you see, as a bunny, this is going to take a little while, I can walk from that entrance of Desert Palace to this end of Desert Palace. Oh, look! Pretend this is the light world. We're in the light world. Now I can walk back in, and I'm still in light world, and I'm not a bunny anymore. Which means I can logically get the 2 checks, well, whatever checks that you have in logic here. If you have the boots, obviously that puts the torch. If you have the big key, gives you the big chest. If you have the small key, puts the other 2 chests. But you know, you can be expected in Crosskeys to enter a connector as, you know, as a bunny, say desert left to desert right, and go the other way, pop out in the light world, and then walk back in and and get the items. That is something that can be logic. Is it worth dying here in Link State? So if you have boots, I mean, you know, that's just dependent on your health. Like, I would imagine a lot of runners, if they find the desert connector as, you know, as a bunny, you're probably just going to take the death orb anyways. I'm also not super into Link State. Just keep that in mind. So yeah, so you know, if like you say you find desert, you death warp, you know, you open this chest, it's the moon pearl. Oh, that tells you that the other end of the desert area is going to be in the light world. Something a little bit more specific towards this. If you find, I don't know why I mirrored. What I'm saying applies only from desert left to desert right and vice versa. Desert middle does not have, like, you can't walk in as a bunny in desert middle and logically be able to get to either desert left or desert right. The reason for that is being pots over here, you are stuck. So you would need to, you know, death war, or you need to bunny revive or super bunny in order to lift up these pots. So it is not in logic to come into desert main as a bunny and go over to desert right or desert left, but it is in logic if you find desert left or desert right as a bunny to walk to the other end and see where that leads, potentially putting the items in desert into logic. There are 2 other instances of that here in Crosskeys. I'm going to be a little cheap here and just go to the quicker of the 2 that are here, which is Paradox Cave. Doing what I just did is not logic. Don't do it. I mean, yes, do it if you can, but like, you cannot logically be expected to delete blocks. But again, if say you know, are in the dark world, this is the dark world. Don't let the game confuse you. This is the dark world. You walk in, you're like, oh, Paradox. Well, can't do anything as a bunny, but you take this connector, and now bam, you're in the light world. It's close enough. Now you can just turn it around, walk back in, and get your items in Paradox. So again, you know, connectors in that aspect can be very good, and you know, it can definitely be very beneficial to do that. The third one, which I'm not going to show you visually, but just tell you, is Hyrule Castle. Except in Hyrule Castle, you can go to all 3 entrances without having to like lift up a pot or anything. So Paradox Logic has no health weapon consideration, right? Correct. I will hit on. Actually, I might as well bring it up now. Then I don't know where Spiral Cave is on this seed because I don't have it marked on my map. But you will never be expected to traverse Spiral Cave as a bunny. That is not in logic. The reason for that is the devs, the AA, and the people who helped create Entrance Logic decided they did not want to force you to try to dodge, mini Moldarms at 3 hearts. Yeah. So you do not need to traverse Spiral Cave as a bunny to logically get somewhere. I'm gonna take a quick swig of my water. Water. Make sure to hydrate, everybody. Logic always assumes you have bombs as a weapon. Do you mind expanding on that? I think it can be required to dodge the enemies in Spec Rock. Alright, so if anyone actually played this seed, because again, this was a daily from a couple days ago, you'll recognize that this connector that I'm taking right here takes me up to, Southwest Seth Mountains Foothill Cave, aka the best cave in the game, as a bunny. And then in this entrance right here was Sick Kid. And in this seed, Sick Kid had our Moon Pearl. Lynn, you missed one. Oh no, it's a DM for Hill. It's a DM for Hill Cave. So if you find Mini Moldarm Cave with no weapons, kill the Mini Moldarms. Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You can kill Mini Moldarms with bombs. But yeah, another thing when it comes to, connectors as a bunny, or at least, popping out as a bunny. Al isn't touched on this earlier, I'm just going to hit on it again. You could be in a situation where you might have to bunny walk to your location to pick up your Moon Pearl. In this case, like I said, Sick Kid had the Moon Pearl, and he's sitting in the Dark World. A couple of ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Again, I'm pretty sure Al hasn't touched on this in the how-to Crosskeys. Is Sick Kid, the Hype Cave NPC, the Potion Shop, Hammer Pegs, Sahashala if you have the green pendant. the bat-like man is what he's called as a hint. That is not Magic Bat. That is, in fact, the Hype Cave NPC. So if you get a hint about silvers being near a bat-like man, that means silvers were in Hype Cave. So that, in general, kind of covers some of the connector gotchas. Again, if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any gotchas that you think I might not touch on, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to to kind of go over them. Are there hints in racing modes? No. I mean, you can absolutely generate a seed with hints, but aside from reading whatever's on the tablets and what's on ped, wow, my voice cracked, dying. There won't be hints. All right, the next fun gotcha that comes up not very often. I have returned as warned to ask about bomb shop and bomb delivery logic. Oh wow, how convenient, because as you can see, I have a bomb. I was actually doing this right here, right now. All right, so you have a big bomb. You have cleared the 2, 5, 6 crystals in logic. Say they were desert and Hera. I don't know, whatever. So you don't have normal Dark World access, but you have this big bomb. How can we get the big bomb to its location, assuming you don't have regular Dark World access? There are a couple of ways to do it, and some of them can be logically expected. For example, for this first one, I have the big bomb, I have a mirror, I have a flute, and I have killed Aga 1. So I can take this big bomb, mirror to the light world, flute over to 4. Is it in logic to open bomb walls in the overworld as a bunny with the big bomb? There has been one seed that I can think of. I'll walk this bad bunny over. No, not to Hype Cave. I didn't even know that this could blow up Hype Cave. Just real talk. That sounds very like overworld glitches kind of stuff, but no, that is not something you can be expected to do, or at least if it is, that is insane. But to kind of go over again, let's kind of get this conversation back on track. That is a wild thing that I have not considered. You can flute over. If you have mirror flute and like say the bomb shop's in the dark world, and you have Aga 1 done, you can flute over and use the Aga 1 portal and turn in the big bomb. So yay, we turned in the big bomb. Something that I can't show in this seed in particular, just because of what the seed entails. It's a great mirror spot. Is that you can be expected to say leave your portal right here. Say you haven't done Aga, but you don't have normal Dark World access, but you have access to the big bomb, which is in a light world location. So you might be required to leave your mirror portal, go get your big bomb, and then bring it back to this mirror portal to go in and blow up the big bomb. I believe it is in logic, if you are able to turn in the bunny as a big bomb. Or to turn in the big bomb as a bunny. There we go. Let me say that the correct way. I was thinking about it because, and I think one of 2 seeds I've ever finished without the Moon Pearl. The Moon Pearl was on the Hype Cave NPC in Pyramid Ferry. Like at the Pyramid Ferry entrance. And shoutouts to the one person who found Moon Pearl that seed, being GFE. Because that was a seed I don't think anyone was like ever going to find the Moon Pearl, and yet somehow GFE found the Moon Pearl. Another thing to think about is if your bomb shop is on the mountain, you always need the flute in order to get it, in order to logically turn it in. This is just a quick little trick. If you have boots and you find that you just walked out of a connector at Pyramid Ferry, if you immediately dash turn, you will go back inside. So obviously, if you move out of it, you won't be able to go back in, but you can dash turn your way back into the Pyramid Ferry entrance. Yeah, Silver Owl, the Big Bomb does not stay with you if you save and quit. I've never tried it with other bomb walls because obviously Pyramid Ferry requires the Big Bomb to actually break open. I would imagine it probably works with other bomb walls, but you know, at that point, there's really no reason that you don't just plant a bomb. And like if you don't have bombs, then maybe that's something that you consider. But I don't think so. I'm right now at this point just kind of running around similarly like Alice, just where I give myself something to do. Actually, I know what I want to show. Back to the dark world. We talked, or at least, you know, we had the question from Silver Owls about saving and quitting with the Big Bomb and how you can't do that. I'm not 100% on the logical implication of this, but you can swim with the Big Bomb. As I will show. So normally if you jump down a cliff, or if, you know, basically if you jump, the Big Bomb doesn't come with you. But if you go away, guard. If you go down from this, the Big Bomb will still follow you. Don't press A because then you will leave the Big Bomb. So you cannot swim fast. You just have to be like la-di-da. Again, I'm not sure of the logical implication of that. I've never seen it be required logically, so I want to lean towards no. Okay, that's possible. Again, I've not come up with a seed where that has been needed. Yeah. All right. Now for the... I've definitely never had this and probably never will have it happen. Logical quirk that, you know, that Allison in particular loves to discuss. And that is what happens if Ganon is right here, which he's not. If Ganon is at your uncle drop down, weirdly enough, this entrance right here is logically locked by a Master Sword. Because if you kill Aga 1 and you don't have a mirror, you know, when you save and quit in the Dark World, you still, because you don't have a mirror, go to the Light World. If Ganon happens to be right here in this drop down, and, you know, you need to get to this entrance for whatever reason, and you don't have a mirror, and you haven't killed Aga 1, you have to be able to get to Phase 3 on Ganon, where he will jump and open up the floor for you to fall down into. Again, very, very, very niche. A connector to the balcony would also do it, but there's no guarantee of that. Yeah, it is I've never seen it happen. If anyone has a seed where that is logically required, please send it to me because I would love to do it. So yeah, so just a really silly quirk that, again, I don't think will ever come into play. But if Ganon is in this dropdown, then the entrance right here is logically locked by a Master Sword. What fun. Alright, Allison, I know touched briefly. The entrance there is Aga Tower. Does that still apply? I don't think conditional logic is as big here in Entrance. Like, non-entrance has a lot of like conditional key logic. You know, hey, there's, you know, like pod conditional key logic is very different. Crosskeys tends to not use the same conditional key logic. Sorry. Another thing Allison touched on briefly, but key logic gotchas, we can kind of discuss a few of those. Pod is, you know, very much the 1-4-6 rule. One key will get you through this door. And put these items back here in logic, or obviously hammer, bow will do the same. But that doesn't like reduce the key logic of the rest of the dungeon. So this is still, you know, everything back here is going to be minimum 4 key locked, including this chest right here. And these two chests down here. How do I not lose the Harmless Hellway Big Key Chest 50-50? Give yourself a rule as to, like, if I have this situation, I will check Harmless Hellway. If I have this situation, I will check Big Key Chest. Stick to that rule and, you know, hope for the best. I believe someone might correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine for this mentor tournament, we're probably using the 2023 Crosskeys. Wow, I can't think of the name of the word, but preset. Thank you to myself, patting myself on the back. We're probably using the 2023 preset, which for thank you, Lynn. For logical purposes, is basically the only difference is you have 100% of your locations available, meaning you can get 216 out of 216 every seed no matter what. A small key will, or a big key, will not lock itself. So, like, Harmless Hellway won't be a small key to pod, Vanilla Big Key Chest won't be a small key to pod, which is possible in other, you know, non 100% location seeds. But to kind of go more back to your question about, you know, how do you not lose the Harmless Hellway Big Key Chest 50-50? Again, it's I would just come up with a rule and follow that rule. So I'll kind of do I'll kind of explain what I do. If I'm in here with 3 keys, basically knowing that I'm leaving behind one of Vanilla Big Key Chest or Harmless Hellway, if I have the big key, I will go to Harmless Hellway. I will open Harmless Hellway and leave Vanilla Big Key Chest. If I do not have the big key, I will open Vanilla Big Key Chest and leave Harmless Hellway. Those are my rules for when do I do Vanilla Big Key Chest, when do I do Harmless Hellway. If I have 4 keys and no big key, or no way to actually beat the dungeon, I'll probably just open up all the checks anyways, and then assume I'll find a 5th key somewhere. Yay. On to Misery Mire. Am I in here because this is my favorite music in this MSU track? Yes. Missed. Ow, rude. If you have one key, bow and hammer, do you go bow lock side 3 times to check everything? My answer to that, my personal answer to that is absolutely not. My actual answer is you do what you think is best for you. If you want to go bow lock side a bunch to hold on to a key, by all means. I just think in general that's very slow, and chances are you're not going to find anything that is going to help you by sequence breaking the back a bunch. Like if you have one key and you're like an hour 10 into the scene and pod, chances are none of the stuff that's locked behind 6 keys is going to be required. So it's very much a, are you okay with the time investment that you're taking to get a couple of extra checks? And my personal opinion of that is no. Is Vidian logic with just the big key? Yes. And the lamp. Let me be clear. Lamp. That is because you can go to this room, you can walk all the way over here. You can go like this. You can go over here. All these doors are nice and open. This is locked by the big key, which you'd open. And you go boop. And you get to go. I believe there is, it's like these 2 checks in Mire, the spike chest that I just passed, and this one are immediately illogic once you have access to Mire, aka you have hookshot and boots. I'm fairly certain the chest right here, the lobby chest, and the chest next to the big chest, oh yeah, and a weapon, yeah. Bombs don't kill wizrobes. So, you can't, yeah, sorry. Lynn is correct. Bombs don't kill wizrobes, as I think learned on a restream once when I attempted that and failed miserably. Lobby chest, big chest, the chest next to the big chest are all locked by either the big key, well, the big chest obviously locked by the big key, or one small key. I believe that is the logical aspect to that. Generally, I don't pay attention to Mire logic with the exception of what's over here. Your fire lock side. This is locked by all 3 of your Mire small keys. You will need all 3 of them to put these 2 checks in logic. More water. Alright. I'm gonna hit on a personal gotcha vendetta of mine, and that's key stealing. So, say you're in Hyrule Castle. Your back of escape is behind Lumberjack. You know, that requires Aga 1. Who knows where the heck your 2 small keys are? Who knows where the heck Aga Tower is? Who knows where the heck the boots are? So you open the chest, you kill this guy, and you're like, I'm going to the back. I personally don't like that, but that is you know, a completely viable strategy. But basically what I'm doing is I am now locking myself out of the other two checks in the back, the Boomerang Chest and Zelda Cell, until I get the Hyrule Castle Small Key. This is actually the same in non-entrance, in that everything, well, same as in everything, the two checks after here, the Boomerang check and Zelda Cell, are locked by the Hyrule Castle Small Key. In non-entrance, I think that's the glove. Again, that's because the game can assume you're using your keys in the worst way possible, aka you are key stealing, going to the back of escape, and thus you now don't have any way to get these two checks without the Hyrule Castle Small Key. So this check, Hyrule Castle Small Key. Zelda Cell, Hyrule Castle Small Key. Both of those are logically required. What about going to the boom chest and leaving only Zelda? That is something that you can do. You can go to the boom chest, steal the key from that guard, and go to the back. But because you can do that with the first guard and go to the back, that still puts the boom chest... That would still lock you out of the boom chest if you do it with the first guard. So, for that reason, boom chest is still locked by the Hyrule Castle Small Key. But yes, I mean, you know, maybe instead of going only one check deep, you go two check deep, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm never doing Zelda Cell ever. So that is something that is viable and something that you can do. Forgive me as I go through this connector. That's never punished anyone before. Never. I didn't have an opponent skip Zelda Cell to go to the back and then have the mirror be in Zelda Cell. Ah! Alright. So another wonderful gotcha is, say Ganon is behind Aga 1. So you need to find the two Aga Small Keys and kill Aga 1. But you already have 7 crystals, and you're like, what the heck, where are my Aga Tower Keys? Well, with 7 crystals, you have access to Ganon's Tower! Yay! This is an entrance. It could be a connector. It could be nothing. It can be an item cave. In this seed, it was GT. Lovely vanilla Ganon's Castle, or Ganon's Tower. So yeah, so, you know, if you're still missing something, say, you know, a GT big key because Ganon's at his vanilla dropdown, if you're missing a castle tower key because Ganon is at lumberjack, if you need a sword because you have 7 crystals and 1 or 0 swords, which is possible, you can consider the fact that your answer might actually be at the GT entrance. Just Stairmaster Aga Tower? What? I don't play major glitches. If that's a major glitch thing, or overworld glitches, sure. But yeah, in this seed, which I honestly found pretty funny, it's a major glitch. Gotcha. Ganon's Tower was vanilla in a completion seed, meaning I had to get every check. I was like, yeah, sorry, I'm not a major glitch person. I'm trying to think of any other specific gotchas. If anyone has one that they think I'm not thinking about, now would be a good time to ask while I'm kind of perusing my map. Is there anything there anything I can see? No, I mean... TR back to front? Okay. So TR back to front. Ah, okay. We'll do TR back to front first, and then we'll do Bad Schoolwood. So... Ah, we did not. Thank you. See? This is why asking you guys for that is good, because in my head I'm like, no, those aren't gotchas. Well, yeah, I play a bunch. So I appreciate all of you. Wow, good job. So in the event you have, you know, Laser Bridge, but you don't have any more accessible entrances to Turtle Rock, yeah, you can be logically expected to go from back to front. I believe Allison touched on this a little bit. Oh yeah, hold up, Dark Maze. Is there? I know there's a button here that will show my inputs. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, and I'm not going to try to play around with it because I do not want to mess with my settings. But yeah, if you're doing Dark Maze from the bottom, basically if you're trying to get to Crystal Roller Room, literally, you would just hold up. So you placed it, and I'm literally just holding up. And you will 100% of the time get to where you get to exactly where you need to go. It requires all 4 small keys to go from the back all the way to the front. Ow, rude. So if you don't have any available TR entrances, then all four small keys will be required. I'm just going through. There's a tracking gotcha, but it's really easy to forget to track location of Saha or Bomb Shop. Yep. When you're, trying to, you walk in an entrance, you walk out of an entrance, you have to be like, oh, I need to track that real quick. Suddenly you're in another entrance that also requires you to track, so you track that, and suddenly you didn't track, where Sahasala was, where the Bomb Shop is, where the Potion Shop is, and that stuff. Any Retrance gotchas? I feel like most Retrance gotchas will also be handled in Crosskeys. I'm gonna go over the ones that Dane, Mr. Buyer also discussed before we go into Retrance ones. Bad Skullwoods. This seed unfortunately was not a Bad Skullwood, so I can't give you an example. But what Bad Skullwoods means is that in Crosskeys, because this is Entrance Shuffle, even in Skullwoods, the entrances and drop downs are shuffled, although they are shuffled amongst themselves, with the exception being the back of Skullwoods, which can be anywhere. Maniacal, I will get to that. That is a good question. So, I forgot if this was the connector one. It was not. So say, we're just going to go to the other one. Basically say that was one of your connectors and it popped you out over there. So now if you want to get to the back of the Skullwoods entrance, or if you want to get just to the Skullwoods entrance that has all the checks, you have to pick one of these 3 drop downs. Basically this is a roulette. Pick your drop down, hope you get lucky. In this case, I picked the one that will just send me back to the 2 entrance side. So I'd be like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. So then I would just go to the next one. Drop down, again, hope for the best. Oh, look, really good at this. I'm finding this one. This is always a small key. This is always, 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 always a small key to Skullwoods. Which, logical gotcha, that means Skullwoods is always logic, or that means Mothula will never have the Moon Pearl. So if you drop down here, you know, you're not stuck, you can get this small key. You'll have to burn it, unfortunately, but you are not forced to save and quit. And then you can just walk out normally. And suddenly you're in the area to go to the back of Skullwoods. At that point, though, if you want to potentially save your small key, you might choose not to open the other check or the other checks and, you know, hope for the best. I'll leave it up to you guys, the runners, to determine, like, so say it is a bad Skullwoods. There is... Sorry, I'm going to show you real quick. Mothula can't Moon Pro because you need Dark World Link. Yeah, you need the Moon Pro logically to get that check. You can't be logically expected to drop down and get the check because that's Super Bunny or, you know, Link State, whatever. So if you're unsure about your Moon Pearl, Mothula is never your answer. And Mothula is 3 key locked, which is why one of them. Which is why. So say you have the bad Skullwoods. I'll largely leave it up to the runners if they want to see if they can escape, because you do have one drop down right here. Obviously, you essentially have a 1 in 3. I say 1 in 3 because you've already dropped down into at least one drop down to get to the back of Skullwoods. So you have a 1 in 3 shot of that drop down being the one that gets you actually out of Skullwoods. Again, leave it up to the runner to whether you think that's a worthwhile time investment. I generally say no, but it's definitely worth. I'm gonna scroll up real quick because I know there was one of them. Did we cover killing Aga for Aga Tower entrance? No, thank you. Sorry, just going through. Again, usually not something that you see very often, but you can be required to kill Aga 1 to grant yourself access to the Aga Tower entrance. Let's go this way. Boop. Again, I don't think... Yeah. So, you know, normally you have the barrier right here. This barrier you can get through with either the Master Sword or the Cape, but if you don't have either, you can kill Aga 1, this barrier will disappear. If I recall, a gotcha as it pertains to Dunka trackers that it assumes you can escape from back of Skullwoods if you come out through the fire-locked entrance. I don't use Dunka trackers, so I don't know that. Can Aga 2 ever be your logical East Dark World access? No. And I think a great example of that was in the Megatational last week. In that one of the runner's specs, this was inverted Crosskeys, so I'm fairly certain this still applies to regular Crosskeys. Climb GT all the way after already doing Aga 2, got into the Aga 2 room, and then nothing happened. And so Aga 2 shouldn't be... Maybe change so you can off loop twice from Aga 2. That makes sense. Again, that's never been a situation that I've run into. I believe Aga 1 can... Well, obviously killing Aga 1 just gives you the portal, so we're good there. But yeah, I don't think Aga 2 can be a logical way to get to East Dark World. But that is a way to get to East Dark World if you haven't been to East Dark World yet. And you're like, you know, maybe Ganon is vanilla, or like the well is over there. Like, don't discount doing the GT climb for East Dark World access. That's a very thorough and very efficient way to do it, while also clearing out the checks on top of GT. The Aggro 1 is dropping a prize that hard locks you now. That sounds like you might be thinking of glitch stuff, but I am not positive. I am gonna scroll up and see. I know there were a couple other things. Was the easiest way with no sword lamp, other easy visual indicator to diagnose, differentiate the various dark entrances? Good question. Unfortunately, I have the lamp, so this is not going to be as fun to show, but I'll do my best. The best way for me is if you have bombs. Because bombs are a great visual aid. What about mirror-only entrances? Yeah, we'll go over those. So, if you have a bomb, or if you have some bombs, you know, one of the best ways to kind of tell what entrance you're at is to almost immediately drop a bomb and see kind of if the bomb moves. So, like, again, I have the lamp, so I can't show it well. But if I have, like, if I drop a bomb, or like for this, you know, if I just hold up, hey, I hear the drop, I hear the jump, I know I'm in front of, you know, I'm at the old man rescue. What I'll usually do here is I'll drop a bomb, and instead of just holding up, I'll stutter. And if I see that the bomb isn't moving, like, you know, like the bomb isn't going left or right because I'm not moving, then I know I'm at the front of the old man rescue. Let's go to the back. So say this is a dark room, you know, I hold up, I don't hear me jumping. I generally don't hold up for more than like a second or two, and then I'll hold down. If I hear the bat, that tells me that this is the back of the old man save and quit. Of course, it didn't happen there, but generally you should hear the bats if you are in the back of the old man save and quit, or not, because the bats don't like me. If I have a sword, it's pretty simple. I hold up left, and if I note that I go in a cardinal direction left as I'm holding up left, then I know that this is the back of the old man save and quit. Do I have the other dark cave marked down? I do. Hooray. Or at least I have one of them, which is good. That's not the right one. Maybe I don't. Dang. Alright, I don't have the other one. Why did I get rid of that one? Well, hey, that's where my old man save and quit was. For the other one, Again, I wish I had... Oh no, I do have it. Haha! Sorry, I'm going to zoom around real quick. So this one's pretty easy to tell. You know, you hold up for a second or two, you hold down. If you notice that you aren't leaving and you haven't fallen, you just found yourself kind of in the middle of one of these ones. Or if you hold up, you hold down, you fall. You know, you're on this end of the Death Mountain Descent Cave. On the other end, kind of similar to the back of Old Man Save and Quit, is if I hold up left with the sword, and then I find myself going a cardinal direction up, then I know I'm at the Death Mountain Descent one. So I'm always, you know, my up left turns into up as opposed to my up left turns into straight left. If you're asking how to, you know, traverse this area in the dark, this for me is more feeling based than I have specific cues. Yeah, my default with the sword is to buffer up left. And then if I note that, you know, if I note that I'm suddenly going straight up, then I know I'm Death Mountain Descent. If I buffer up left and then suddenly I'm just going left, it's not very long, but you would recognize the sword trail is going in a cardinal direction as opposed to a diagonal direction. That'll be your tell as to which one you are in. Now, if I'm trying to do this in the dark, like say I'm actually trying to traverse this and I maybe don't have a sword or anything, for me this is much more of a feel thing, so I apologize. I don't have a specific set way to do this, but I just, you know, in my head I go up until I, you know, couple seconds. Again, this is very much a feel thing. I apologize. I'll switch to down left, and at least with down, you know, hold down left, and then I can just kind of go up left and I'll get through. Similarly on this side, I'll kind of use the bats as cue. I'll hold down right. There are usually bats here, until I essentially run into one of the bats. That's my cue to go up right, which again I'll hold for a little bit. Like if I just go like this, do I just... Yeah, you can, and then just straight down. Again, I apologize. I don't have a specific way to do that. That is like a set way that will work 100% of the time. But that is one thing to do. Mirror only entrances. Okay, well, what I just did was a mirror only check. So you obviously need the mirror to get floating island, similar to non-entrance. In terms of mirror only checks, there are a couple, but most checks are ones that you kind of already do in non-entrance. So like, you obviously know about Cave 45, you know about Checkerboard Cave, you know about Mimic Cave. So like, those are, you know about those checks. This one right here, the Race Lady, or Brothers West, this is one of your entrances that you need to kind of keep in mind with your mirror, because that is something that you have access to. Sorry, just taking more water. I can't think of. Oh, and Southwest Death Mountain's Foothills Cave. Basically, when you pop out of the top of Bumper Cave, mirror, go in that entrance. Yeah, Lirewell Bumper Cave, otherwise known as Southwest Death Mountain's Foothills Cave. Those are the two that I can think of for sure that aren't entrances that you normally go into. So those are good, that require the mirror. All right, we've hit an hour. One or two more things I feel like I want to hit on. Saying this just because I saw it once and I'm like, nope, that is not allowed. You are not allowed to glitch your way into this entrance. This is not allowed. This is a connector at all times. You cannot overworld glitch your way into this. Oh, yes, thank you. Convenient since we're here. Yes, you can mirror to the front of desert without a book, provided... Well, yeah, I mean, there are multiple ways to do it. I was almost like, provided you haven't opened this entrance, but you can obviously go right here. Again, similar to what you have seen sometimes in non-entrance seeds. Actually, on that note, you can't, if you have the mirror and you are in Mire without a glove, this entrance, the back of desert, is in logic. So that's a good one. You can mirror pretty much right up, you know, use the little Mire thing as your cue, basically just straight up in the middle, mirror, boom. So that's a good one to consider. Is there any? Sorry, I'm going through the chat again. I definitely want to show one. Well, I'm going to show two other things that have nothing to do with logic. And one of them is just hey, this is a silly, unique thing to know. But it's just something I learned playing the seed, or playing a bunch of Crosskeys seeds. All right, first and foremost, if you need to get the maze chest in Aga Tower, and you don't have a lamp, it is not hard. This is only if you are just trying to get the chest. If you're actually trying to do Aga 1, different circumstances entirely. Basically, what I'm going to recommend here is never hold out your sword. So I'm going to hold down left, shuffle until I don't shuffle, and then from here, again, do not hold out your sword. You will clink on one of the walls, you will alert the guards, and make this a mess. But without a sword, you can just hold down left, up left, down left, up left, boom, you're there. Do not hold out your sword while doing that. Go away. So again, down left, up left, down left, up left, boom. I'm dealing with enemies because I'm doing this back to front again. You will not, like, if you hold down left, like I'm holding down left now doing this, well, like, you will always still walk it, you will always, like, walk through that. Similarly, up left, you will you won't get stuck right there if you're just holding up left. It's like Pod Dark Maze. Yeah, I've done Pod Dark Maze from the back so many times, I don't know how to do it from the front anymore. So like I just have my way of doing it. But yeah, if you hold out your sword while you try this, you know, You're going to inevitably clink right there, which will alert the guards, and then you're in hell because you're trying to deal with the guards. Doing it that way, you generally won't clink, or you generally won't alert guards, and you're fine. Alright, the final thing that has nothing to do with logic is just a silly little quirk that I learned playing a million of these seeds. So if you have any final questions, now would be a great time to ask. If there are any that I missed, please repeat them, and I apologize for missing them. Your connector on TR Bridge is always the right entrance. Always. So if you walk out of a connector and you pop yourself onto TR left, I will 100% guarantee you this is also a connector of some sort. Again, has nothing to do with logical purposes, has nothing to do with anything. It is just your TR right is always 100% a connector. Just keep an eye out when you do it, and if you're ever like, oh, I popped out of TR left, Wally's wrong. No, when you go into TR right, you will just find another connector. Again, it serves no logical purpose, but it was something that I learned playing a bunch of these seeds. Alright, it is a little bit, 7 after the top of the hour. I'm going to leave it up for a little, another minute or so for anyone who actually has any final questions. If not, I will leave it to Mr. Angry Pants to kind of see us off. I want to thank you guys for letting me do this. I apologize if I'm not as technical as Alazun. My way of playing Crosskeys is a lot of see stuff, do stuff. So I'm never the best. I don't think I'm the best when it comes to explaining things, but I try. I try. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. You can always DM me. I think my status at all times says do not disturb, but just send me a message. That's more just because I don't want to hear the pings all the time from Discord. I don't even know if they'd fix that yet. I do hope you have learned something. Thank you, Mamo. Thank you, everyone, for the kind words. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing more people get into the Crosskeys. Yay. I want to see more people enter the Crosskeys tournament. So I can beat you. No, I'm just kidding. So you can beat me. I am the defending champion. So yeah, someone knocked me off of my perch. I don't think we're gonna have any other questions. So Mr. Angry Pants, I don't know if you are here or around or want to say anything, but thank you guys so much. Oh, Mr. Angry Pants says I can send us off. Oh no, I have to think of something. As far as I'm concerned, Crosskeys is the best mode. Alright, thank you. That's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you again.